Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by the Pilsner House and Beer Garden. Go visit our friends at 1422 Grand Street. Have a beer, have a pretzel, try those ribs. It's summertime, and Pilsner House knows how to do them right. So excuse the attire today. I am not going to be on much on my show, but I will be back in the next segment over at Hudson River Care and Counseling, so you're not going to want to miss it. But first, let's go to our favorite podcasters. We have the H-Town Breakdown here, and take it away, Miss Leah Garcia.
Thank you, Peter. Hi, my name is Leah Garcia.
And my name is Taylor Shaw.
And we are the H-Town Breakdown. On today's episode of the H-Town Breakdown, we're going to be discussing how New Jersey was in fact Hollywood before the Hollywood in Los Angeles. Taylor here has some facts for us about how this was actually, our home state was actually Hollywood before it all even began.
Yes, so let's dive right in. I'm just going to spit out some facts, a little rapid fire moment. So from 1909 to 1918, Fort Lee was actually the center of the cinematic universe. So, our home state was where all the filming was being produced, shot, etc. And even though that the first film studio opened up in Hollywood in 1911, that industry didn't really become prominent out on the West Coast until the 1920s. So New Jersey was really the home for just like the cinematic universe. And now it's really making a comeback. Would you like to explain a little more about that?
Yes, it is. And it's really, really awesome to hear that our state is actually known for something other than the Jersey Shore, which is really rewarding. To touch on that a little bit, in 1917, one of the most famous and popular movies were produced, Poor Little Rich Girl, in Fort Lee. And then that's how it kind of got to boom and create other really, really great movies at that time that were super popular, but we don't really watch now because they're in like black and white.
Yeah, they're kind of
super
old. It's over 100 years ago they were filmed, but now, we have movies like The Kill Room, which was actually being filmed earlier last month, starring the one and only Uma Thurman and the one and only
Samuel L. Jackson. And let's not forget Uma's daughter, Maya Hawke, was actually here.
Can't forget about her.
Robin from Stranger Things. If you guys haven't seen Stranger Things season 4, you will absolutely love it. I love it. And it's been great to have her here in my town, in our town.
It's really been crazy because just like walking down Bloomfield, they were filming on 10th and Bloom. If you were passing by there, you definitely noticed because either the road was closed and there was so much traffic on that street, or, you just saw a lot of the crew and the set just on display, and it's really been amazing. A lot of our friends and even us, we got the opportunity to see Uma Thurman and Samuel L. Jackson, which I think is amazing because in this town, you really don't always get to see that while we are a pretty famous town and we do have a lot of history. It's not every day that you get to see a famous actor and actress just, walking down the street, enjoying a nice coffee at your local coffee shop.
Like Penn Bagley that was here.
Yes, he loves Boy Cafe, if you guys didn't know that. I hope I pronounced that correct. But yeah, he actually released a statement. Well, that sounds so official, but he basically just said how in Hoboken his favorite cafe to get a coffee is Boy, which I think is really cool. He's that's kind of random. When I saw that, I was like, wait, he's mentioning Hoboken, and now just to see stars continuing to come, it's really amazing. And I truly love it. It does spice up the town a little bit. It gives us something to look forward to.
Yes. Even though, unfortunately, I have not even seen Maya Hawke, Uma Thurman, or Samuel L. Jackson. I tried really hard to. I tried to be an extra in the film on set, and I kept on walking past multiple times, but nothing ever happened. And, they were quick to calling the cops on me, but they didn't, thank God. So
yeah, sometimes I would just take a nice little stroll and act like as if I lived on that block,
Right.
Make a nice little discreet turn down the street. But no, I really don't live there. I was just being nosy and wanted to see what was going on. And, to mention some other stars that have been in town, Bruce Springsteen, but you guys knew that. He used to perform at Maxwell.
Yeah.
That used to be a former restaurant, and now it's an oyster seafood restaurant.
Justin Timberlake was here as well.
He performed there as well. Justin Bieber, he used to box at the UFC gym downtown. Maddie Ziegler from Dance Moms. I grew up with Dance Moms. You did too.
Oh, yes. Big
when
Dance
I saw
Moms
that,
fan.
she didn't explicitly say that she was in Hoboken, but I was like, That's PRC in the background.
You were a detective.
I know that she's in Hoboken. And then you just look in the comments and everyone that we follow is like, Maddie's in Hoboken. Maddie's in Hoboken. And now to just like see the articles coming out with the new movie, The Kill Room that we just mentioned, it's like really cool to just see everyone talking about it because that's something that we could all really just connect on. And it brings the town together, honestly. And even when you walk by the skate park, if you look by like the warehouses on the pier that are over there, you might even see the trucks parked there or the film crews just like put all their equipment there. It's really cool. You know, just be a little nosy, go on a nice stroll, go on a nice little hunt, and you will find it.
Yeah, and production in this state continues to exponentially grow and boom as Netflix actually put a bid out on a big plot of land in Fort Monmouth because they plan on doing a lot of filming there, creating a lot of new movies. Maybe to all the boys I've ever loved, part 4 will come out and be filmed in New Jersey. We never know, but this only brings new beginnings, new opportunities to the fellow New Jerseyans here with us.
Yeah, and the industry is really coming back to the East Coast, you know, like even with music videos, for those of you who know Bad Bunny, a famous Latin artist, he filmed in Secaucus, New Jersey and in New York City.
And Weehawken.
Yeah, and in Weehawken. It was just really cool to see him come back to Hudson County. And, you know, like how Leah said with Fort Monmouth now being like the new area in New Jersey, that's going to be like a nice film hub. We're going to start to see a lot of new films come back to this area. So, you know, let us know what films you may be interested in seeing. Not that we can necessarily spread the word, but maybe we could have a little contest to see who's the closest, who's right. Who knows? I'm honestly interested to see what upcoming movies will be filmed in this area.
Oh, same. And we almost forgot the most important series that has just been recently produced in Jersey City. Some scenes were shot there, which is the Miss Marvel series, which I cannot wait to watch.
I am looking forward to seeing that. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. Please don't cancel me for that.
No, cancel her. Please do. Please
Sorry, I'm too lazy to watch all the movies. But what I think is really cool is how it's based on McNair Academic High School. It's a school in Jersey City. And, like, it's very original to this area. And while not everything about the show is, like, true in the way, like, to Jersey City, they've kept a lot of just, like, the same themes, same places. And I honestly love that because it's just being true to the area. And it's really cool to just see someone or, like someone from this area, for one, starring in that movie because the main actress, Miss Marvel, I think she went to McNair.
Oh, yeah. And this is the first time that I've actually been jealous of McNair High School. We go to high tech. But
we've never been jealous of McNair.
Right. But
guys.
Given that Kamala Khan went to McNair, now I'm a bit jealous because I wish I would have gone to McNair.
Yeah, we don't have superheroes coming from high tech, and now McNair gets that, and that's honestly a flex.
Oh,
and just to see that happening, it's really nice to see them honor the area and just honor the communities. It's like the diverse communities that live in this area. And I know it's going to be a hit. I think it was already released or it is going to be released soon.
It's already been released, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think so. And honestly, it's a hit. I'm looking forward to watching it. So if someone wants to share their Disney Plus account.
Oh, don't look at me, girl.
You know, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Maybe after today's episode we can go watch the first episode. I'm not really sure yet, depending. But no, like you said, it also creates a lot more job opportunities and gives light to some film creators around here. You know, maybe you guys can be the next Steven Spielbergs with this new plot of land in New Jersey. And coming from New Jersey, that's really cool to produce a film in your own hometown and state.
Know, and it's like you could achieve your dreams from anywhere. And just because we live in New Jersey, yes, everyone hates our state, but at the same time, this state business is booming. So honestly, like, this is the area to really just get involved and look after job opportunities. Just seek any job opportunities you're interested in. Because honestly, all what you need is a camera, and you can really get your business started there. You know, so definitely take advantage of the new opportunities that are coming to this area, because I know that we will.
Oh, definitely. And I can't wait to see this be the next and latest Hollywood, as it'll be restored in its glory in the production and cinematic industry.
It's going to be revitalized in this area. So Hollywood, eyes are on us now. Sorry, New Jersey is where the film industry is going to be very prominent. So, you know, everyone should definitely look at that because we are too. So
definitely. Well, thank you guys for having us. Again, we are the H-Town Breakdown, and
yes,
we'll be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience and therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and we are here at the beautiful Hudson River Care and Counseling offices located at 310 Cedar Lane in Teaneck, New Jersey. And of course, you can visit them here or their Hoboken office, which is located at 63A 8th Street, as I mentioned, in Hoboken. And we're so honored and glad to have a special guest. We were here last month with the founder and CEO, Dr. Pam, but today we have the Director of Coaching Services here at HRCC, who is Yudy Cid. Yudy, how are you today?
Very, very good. Happy to be here. Thank you, Peter, for having me.
Exactly. And many people at home might see this face and say, hey, she looks like really, really familiar. And why is Peter rubbing his beard on air? It's because you're in the same type of line of business as I am, but I'm sure you're much better at it. You are in the media world. So I was wondering if you can explain to the audience what you do in the media world.
Basically, it's bringing mental health care, self-care to the mainstream, particularly now in these times. But I started my work 5 years ago on the radio, talking to people about the importance of, a strained family relationship, healthy relationships, and it opened many, many doors. And that made me think that people really want content, that it's heartfelt content, that really it's for their care, content that can really help them in life. And so many doors open after that, and now I am on a weekly basis on Univision and Despierta America. Those are the main, actually, Latin networks in the U.S.
That is fantastic. And I have to tell you, we have so many different great guests on the show that each have their own specialties. And I like to joke that I'm kind of like the media head of it, but Yudy's got me beat.
No. I mean, it sounds fancy, but it's really a very heartfelt job because when there is bad news, terrible, they call me at the last minute, and it's like you have to connect and bring people hope, bring people what can they do immediately. And so sometimes, it's fun, but sometimes it's really serious.
Absolutely. And what's amazing is what you bring to the television world and the media world, you do here at Hudson River Care and Counseling. So I guess my first question is, how long have you been here, and what does the Director of Coaching Services do at HRCC?
I'm so happy here. I've been working and collaborating at Hudson River Counseling Center for more than a year. I love the opportunity that Dr. Pam gave me right in the middle of the pandemic, right when people needed it the most. And I love it how we all restructure quickly to respond to the need, to the demand of people calling, and people having, for the most part, a lot of anxiety about everything and grieving on their own, because we have to remember that it's almost like living a second pandemic where people felt like, they couldn't grieve with their loved ones and things like that, and we were here to respond. We're still responding, and so I love the opportunity that was open to us to really come and respond and do this work that that most people need us at this time.
Exactly. And we spoke about this with Dr. Pam last month, just the pandemic and how she noticed that her clients, jumped through the roof because obviously mental health was so prevalent when you tell everybody they have to stay home and wear masks everywhere and so on and so forth. In terms of the clients that you work with, did you also see an expansion after the pandemic?
Absolutely, and also particularly families, and because that's my specialty, couples and family. So a lot of children from school having, like I said, anxiety, and then remember that schools were in structure, yet to offer the support, to do the interventions that we offer here. And so we were able to work with the whole family as to how to adapt to the changes, particularly a lot of kids being online for all day and parents going crazy, having to adapt to different schedules, and also couples with a different dynamic. The dynamics change, and also really doing crisis interventions with couples so that they can, go through this crisis and know that things will, that everything, that they just need to adapt and that things will get better in time.
So what's amazing, you look at children who are growing up in the pandemic, and obviously more and more states are lifting up their regulations when it comes to mask wearing, but I feel that they're human sponges in a way. Whatever you're teaching them, gets instilled with them throughout life. But, to me, it's so difficult to teach a child that, look, your mask wearing is not normal. I mean, I'm sure you've seen, obviously without getting into any type of confidential information, but plenty of clients coming in here, who, were affected by a lot of these mandates.
A lot. And another thing that's happening with that, it's also that a lot of children and even adults really are still got hooked up to that pattern of living, and now that things are opening up, they still locked in their rooms, they're still consuming a lot of social media. So I get a lot of interviews in the media, in the news, as to what can people do about that, because it's still present. Like kids got hooked up to that, and now they still want to spend hours and hours, and so that's it. We're still overcoming a lot of things, but I would say those are the main ones that we're working with.
Wow, I mean, and for Hudson River Care and Counseling to be here, as really just a place to listen, I mean, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. A person comes here, a family comes here, adult or child. What type of services can they expect from Yudy?
What I love is the diversity. Many people call us and they want to work with a particular type of person, let's say in terms of maybe ethnicity or background, or even their own personal religion, because in these times faith is important, hope is important, compassion is important, and they want to feel like they can really connect with someone that has their similar background, that might understand a specific uniqueness of them, and we offer that uniqueness, whether it is through ethnicity, their background, specialty, or their own spirituality.
Well, Yudy, that is absolutely phenomenal, and I guess one of the things that's a little different than most people who go to work every day is this job brings that kind of different type of aspect. I'm sure each person that you meet with, has, their issues might be similar, but they're different as well, correct? So, I guess what excites you coming into the office, or obviously visiting them on telehealth, from client to client? So.
What excites me is believing in human potential. Also, people who call, people who take that extra step. How many people don't even make the call, don't even ask for the help? And I latch on to their, I would say, courage to make that phone call, their courage to want to change, the courage to say, I do need the help. And that heroic attitude of saying, no, I cannot stay in this situation anymore, I really want to change. And so that fills me up to say, yes, when you knock at the door, it shall be open. And so I really get blessed, or I would say energy inspired is the word, by their courage to want to make a change in their lives.
Exactly. Asking for help is the first and most important step, as they say. Yudy, really quickly, because we have about 30 seconds left, if people want to utilize your service specifically here, they can do so on the website or by phone?
They can do it on the website, but because now we're working primarily virtually, they can call me directly at 646-234-3160. I'll be here to help.
Well, Yudy Cid, thank you so much. I could tell that you're in the media, outshining me here. I really, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
Please do call. There is help. There is hope.
Thank you again. Really appreciate all the hard work that you and your colleagues do here at Hudson River Care and Counseling. Absolutely. All right, folks, from Hudson River Care and Counseling in Teaneck, New Jersey, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there.
Hey, everybody. My name's Frank Rosner, and it's great to be back guest hosting for Peter B at The Pulse. I'm here with my good friend, Joshua Sotomayor Einstein. His first name is biblical. His second name is after a Supreme Court justice. His third name is after a genius, and it's applicable to none of those to him.
So, folks, now that we got the hot air out of this top of the segment over here, what is it you want to talk about?
Well, Josh, I think there's plenty to talk about, actually. Let's bring up the recall election for Phil Cohen, if you don't mind.
I don't mind, but I'm sure he does.
Well, that's debatable. I don't think it's going to happen to spend $50,000 for a recall campaign when the election is just about maybe less than a year away and a couple of months after that. It's not good.
Those are two separate issues. Whether it's going to happen.
No, they're not.
Hold on, mira. Whether it's going to happen is different from how much it costs. You can pretend they're the same issue, but everyone out there in TV land and on the internet understands that those are two different issues. So whether it happens or not depends on if they get the amount of signatures and they get it in and everything is certified. Now the cost, that happens afterwards. That's why they're two separate things. One is A, one is B. One has to happen before the other, so I know it's a simple concept, so you, like Phil Cohen, might have a hard time wrapping your head around that.
Oh, wow. Look, I know Phil. He's a good man. I know Perry. He's a good man. And I know Barry for a very long time, and he's a good man. I'm not sure if, I'm not very familiar with the gal.
Did you ask them if that's how they identify? Because you just gendered them.
They identify as Barry and Phil and, he, she. Forget the other stuff. That's just a distraction.
Well, we agree on that.
Well, I could care less what you call yourself. I identify as this concrete. It's great. Call me concrete.
We finally have an area where we agree, but on other distractions, I think we should discuss Mayor Bala's use and abuse of the Nix alert system and what's happened in that arena. What do you say?
Well, I understand the lawsuit. You know what, the Oprah...
Why don't you explain it for people that may not know?
Well, there's a guy, I forget his name. He did an Oprah request on the emails for all the people that are on the Nixel list.
An Oprah request,
of which I am one. Which
you want to explain what an Oprah request is?
The Open Public Records Act, and he did win, I think.
Yes, he did.
Correct?
He won in court.
So the administration is going back to court to challenge that decision.
Yeah, it's very interesting because on the one side, the Bala administration, even though they lost in court, is saying, well, this isn't really our property. It belongs to a third-party vendor. On the other side, some people don't want to have their emails just willy-nilly spread out, given to anybody that asks for it. But the reality is if cities or any level of government can just give information to a third party and then say it's exempt from Open Records Acts, then we won't have any open government whatsoever. Because who was ever in office, they never liked sharing information.
Well, look, I don't necessarily disagree with that if it's just my email. and I don't respond to Nixel. They just send me the information. So I'm not really worried about that. I mean, I'm not sure why they're contesting it. There's no private information on that. It's all information coming to me from the administration on Nixel. Correct?
100% right.
Yeah.
But even more so.
Oh my God, we agree twice?
I know, it's time
Oh,
I should
my
take a
brain's
drill
gonna
and either
explode.
drill his head or then
Ow.
drill my head, right? But the thing with Nixel is I really think the Ball administration wants to be the only person to spam people's email addresses.
Well,
because,
I don't
like,
think they're
look at the
spamming.
last Nixel or last couple of Nixels. It was all about policy issues that the Ball administration has a difference of opinion with the opposition in the city council. That's not an emergency.
Well, you
You
know,
know.
that does happen on occasion, and it actually, I see it as informational. Whether I agree with what it puts out as far as policy-wise, I'll say I don't agree with it. If I agree with it, I agree with it. I'm a pragmatic
but
individual.
the question is
so.
should politicians be able to send, using city and taxpayer funds, what's essentially an op-ed out to tens of thousands of residents, you know, rather than just write an op-ed and send it to the paper?
Ultimately, it's not to be used for Nixel.
Agreed.
So gee.
So there you go. 3
All
times
right,
the
we're gonna
charm.
wrap
We
it up,
have
folks.
a
We
hat
agree.
trick. We have a hat trick. 3 times. 3 times.
That's amazing.
He'll never forget it.
That's
It was the best time of his life.
So, and there's some other stuff going on, as you know. So we got the Cohen thing out of the way, the recall. How about the weed board? I think there's 7 of them on now. You need 7 people to be on a weed board? What's with peace is going to break out if everybody's smoking?
I've heard of joints, blunts, bongs,
Blunts.
water bongs, gravity bongs, all
Okay.
sorts of, pieces, pipes, bubblers, trees, chronic, shrubbery, greens.
What does that
But
have
I've
to
never
do with
heard
7
of a
people on the
weed
board?
board. I mean, I don't understand how you're supposed to use a weed board.
Well,
You know.
I understand what you're saying, and you're trying to be funny, and it's not working, but that's okay.
Okay. So
There-
you
there-
say.
there's 7 people designated, I believe, on the weed board. Not sure why you need 7 people. I think 3, tops 4 is enough. I mean, they're not even going to make policy. I mean, depending on what ordinance they have and what's going on when it's opening up.
Well,
I mean,
by the
it
time the
doesn't-
joint gets from the first person to the last person, there's not going to be any more puffs in that weed board. But
So we agree jointly.
jointly, we do agree. No, but all seriousness, the way that this rollout has been done, when the weed board was just 3 people,
All right.
has just been from the top to the bottom, opaque, and it's
opaque.
just the way the Ball administration likes it, where people don't know what's going on and things are not clear. And I'm all for legalization of anything that doesn't physically harm somebody else. But as long as we have these government regulations and institutions that are doing these rollouts, they should do it in an open and honest way. And this was the categorically Hudson County super shady Balla way of doing it.
Now, look, I don't know if it's shady or not. I'm not sure still why they need 7 people, but I'm sure it'll work itself out. Weed is weed, and if it's legal, there you have it.
Indeed, we do have it.
Yes, we do. That's correct. So, Josh, let me ask you about the municipal complex that they're talking about. So, what are your ideas? What are your problems with it? Just tell me.
Well, it's a massive waste of money that'll cost the taxpayer with interest hundreds of millions of dollars.
Huh.
It includes lots of the attempted public bribes that the school board was trying to get in their failed referendum. And Balla, to his discredit, has abused the Nixel alert system to try to build public support for something that the public doesn't have support for. They put out these one-sided surveys that don't give you the option to be against it. And he said to the media that they'll get this done one way or the other, which is not how democracy works. You have to compromise, and sometimes you have to take an L. That's how democracy actually functions.
Well, I don't disagree with you on the cost, but we're actually going to have a municipal complex. It's got to go somewhere. I don't necessarily agree with the cost, but hey, that's it. All right, folks. Go ahead.
The reality is we have a municipal building.
Well,
we have a police building.
next
we
time.
don't need more of that. We don't need wasteful spending, and we don't need to tax the people. If you put it on a referendum, it would lose.
I don't agree. All right, folks. Here we go. We're going to go back to my good friend, Peter B. Let's have it.
All right, we want to thank Frank Rosner for guest hosting in this segment. Of course, true talent on sets, unlike The person he had as his guest, which is Josh Sotomayor Einstein, says he wore a different shirt today. Highly doubt it. Looks like he picked it up from a homeless guy coming over to Maxwell Place Beer. But different story for a different time. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.